Hi there, guys. Welcome to the WHL Week 1 Roundup Show. I'm your host, LHS Brad35. You can follow me on Twitter at Brad Windhorse. I'm also here alongside of VGW. His Twitch account is listed down below. He will be connecting to us via Discord. So, Week 1 is in the books. We've got a lot to talk about. I want to give you guys a little bit of rundown for those who are brand new to League Gaming, what LG, the WHL, and the Central Division is all about. First of all, we are a division of League Gaming. League Gaming does hockey, to basketball, to all these different sports and different sports leagues. Underneath that is what's called the LGHL, the Hockey League. It's broken into three sections. You got the National Hockey League, or the HL. Then you got the AHL. The last one is the CHL, and that's what we're part of, specifically the Western Hockey League. We're doing the Central Division, which consists of Calgary Hitmen, Edmonton Oil Kings, Kootenay Ice, Lethbridge Hurricanes, Medicine Hat Tigers, and last but not least, the Red Deer Rebels. So we got a lot to talk about. We're just going to dive right in. We're going to start with VGW, who's going to talk about the bidding before Week 1 was played. So VGW, go ahead and take it away.
Well, bidding this particular season was kind of interesting. We had a lot of teams that were going out for defense. That Calgary Hitmen was the only team that was really more focused on trying to build individual lines. I've got some of the top players here, as in the top bids, with the highest bid being the Red Deer Rebels getting Riptide Mizitsune. If I mess up your name, I apologize. Who went for $5 million. He's currently at an orange streak right now, with red being the highest. We'll see how that turns around. And the next highest bid being $4.75 million, which is a two-way tie between Lethbridge Hurricanes' Hal Jokes, who's at a green streak, and Cal Hockey 10 of the Edmonton Oil Kings, who's at a yellow streak. Interesting to note, though, one team in particular went over the bidding and is going to have to make some moves to make their roster legal. The spending limit this season was $25 million, and they spent $27 million. It'll be interesting to see what they do to customize their roster. And now we're going to take it back to Brad. Brad, take it away.
Okay, thank you, VGW. Next up on our show is the discussing of the first week. Week 1 is in the books. 9 games have gone by. For the most part, there wasn't too many issues. I believe there may have been 1 or 2 issues with connections during the week. But for the most part, I've been hearing some really good remarks about Week 1. Progressively, the CHL has become a lot more popular because they have expanded from, I believe, 34 some teams to 60 within the past 2 to 3 seasons, which is a great experience on LG. So if you're new to LG, definitely get your name out there, start talking to people, and get knowing what League Gaming is all about. So let's just jump right into the standings for Week 1 in the WHL. Okay, leading off the Central Division in the standings is Medicine Hat Tigers. They started off the week a little bit weak after the first night, but they bounced back and they have won 2 in a row to finish off the season, or the week 6-2 and 1. They've got 13 points. In second place is Edmonton Oil Kings. They finished the week 6-3. They're also riding a 2-win streak with 12 points. In third place is Lethbridge Hurricanes at 5-3-1 with 11 points. And then rounding out the bottom 3 is in fourth place Red Deer Rebels with 8. Kootenay Ice in fifth with 8. Rebels get the higher seed based upon, if I'm correct, goal differential or something along those lines. I believe it's goal differential. I'll have to check on that and hopefully have that for next week. And in last place, in sixth, is Calgary Hitmen. they finished the week at 3-5-1 with 7 points. The biggest streak right now that's going on is the Kootenai Ice. They have lost 6 in a row. They've gone 0-4-2 in the last 6 games, so they're going to try and look to bounce back. Also on the screen you'll see now is the first week playoff standings. You've got the East Division, Central Division, BC Division, and then the US Division, along with the WHL wildcard race. So top of the East Division is the Wheat Kings, Central is the Tigers, BC is the Giants, the US Division is the Thunderbirds, and then in the WHL race, we've got Cougars, Rebels, Ice, and Hitmen rounding out the playoff standings. Now that obviously will change for sure in the next couple weeks with all the moves that are going to be made. Next is the team stats. Okay, so on your screen right now, and I'm going to go and adjust this a little bit so you can see them. They are a little bit small on the screen, but hopefully you guys can read it. The team stats are sorted by win percentage, so that's why you see the Giants in first place at 77.8%, all the way down to the Silvertips in 22nd at 22.2%. The big thing I'm looking at here, I'm looking at the power play percentage. If you look at the list right now, the top power play is the Rebels at 45%. They are 9 for 20 on the power play. Penalty kill percentage, the highest right now, is the Raiders. They've been doing really good, 0 for 12. So that's pretty cool record there. The most penalty kills that have been established or made on the ice is by the Ice. They have 22 penalty kills, so penalties have been a big issue with the Ice. Hopefully they will go and fix that. The average time of attack, the highest in the league, is the Blazers at 7:13. The lowest is the Rockets at 3:55. Shot difference, we don't really read too much into this because shot difference is not always a stat that's really big with EA Sports, but the shot difference, the highest Thunderbirds at 66, and the lowest, the Silvertips, are a -70. The most shutouts for the team, or from in this case, include 4 different teams. The Warriors, Wheat Kings, Hurricanes, and Raiders all have 2 shutouts. The highest face-off percentage in the WHL right now, Central Division, the entire league, is of the WHL is the Royals at 61.7% and the Ice at 42.4%. The most power play goals have been scored by the Rebels with 9. Goals against, the highest are the Ice and Rockets, both tied at 8. The hits, Raiders were 87, Hurricanes at 33, and the last 2 stats here, the penalties, the most penalties in the league right now are by the Winterhawks. They have 59 penalty minutes. The least is the Hitmen, 22 minutes. Go figure, the Hitmen have a lot of hits, but the least amount of penalties. Interesting. And then last but not least, the goal differential. The most is by the Wheat Kings. They got 28. The least are the Blades at -18. So there's your team stats. Moving right along to player stats. Now I'm going to break it into 2 sections. I'm going to talk about the stat line that I think most people on here will think is the most important, and then also what LG thinks via ranks. So looking at skater stats, the top 10 scorers in the WHL Central Division. On your screen you can see them. Again, it's Ryan. If I butcher your name, I apologize. At center with 18 points for the Hurricanes. Alongside of Ryan is Kush Man QC92 and Reggie Kush 88. 3rd, 5th, and 6th are from the Calgary Hitmen. Memums Bum, I'm not sure how to announce that, but that's how we'll go with. Shawnee Mack and Cox 2564. So the top 6 scorers in the WHL Central are from 2 teams, Lethbridge Hurricanes and the Calgary Hitmen. Rounding out 7 through 10 is Dirty Duster for the Ice. Unfortunately, he got called up to the AHL, so he is no longer in the WHL. 8th for Red Deer, Alex QC Killer Box. 9th, Edmonton Oil Kings, Kingy Kong. And in 10th, D-Vase 36. So there are your top scorers as of 3 games played for everybody in the top 10 for the Week 1 results. Moving right along. Here is the LG ranks of the top 10 skaters in the WHL Central. This includes also left defensemen, right defensemen, defenders, and skaters. So it's everybody. If you look at 1 through 10, in the listing here, you see that Mems Bum, again, Cox, GB Hockey, and the Hurricanes as well, with Ryan Cushman QC, have shown a lot of good play in week 1. So again, Calgary Hitmen and Hurricanes with a decent amount of the top 10 LG rankings. You can check out the rest of them. This is all done through the website, so you can always go under stats, click on team stats, view team stats, and then also member stats, and you can sort everything. Everything is sortable, which is a great thing about this league. So there's your top 10 skaters ranked by LG. Moving on, next are the goalies. Okay, the first stat line is by save percentage. So you can see there that the Hurricanes have used 3 different goalies during the week, but all of them are in the top 5 in save percentage in the WHL Central Division. In between there is Crazy Matt 1 for Medicine Hat, Chris Bailey for the Edmonton Oil Kings, and then rounding out 7 through 10, you've got Notorious 250, the Birdman 27, Kuznetsov 92, and then I'm not even going to try to mention your name. I just know it as No Me 80. So there is 1 through 13 LG recorded goalie stats. The last little image on the screen is the goalie stats based upon LG rank. So right now for the WHL Central, the number 1 goalie in the league for WHL Central supposedly is with the Calgary Hitmen, with GB Hockey Boy, who has an elite ranking. If you look at his save percentage, it's pretty darn good at 77.8 and a 2.60 goals against average. Last little stat here, shutouts so far that are recorded by LG. You've got 2 for the Hurricanes. You got Lever 4880 and an Angle Dangle with 1 as well. So there's your player stats from the WHL. Some really cool stuff. You know that's going to change. Some people will be called up. Some people will be sent down. Things are going to be bounced around for the next couple 2 to 3 weeks until teams finally figure out what their plan is. So there's your standing stats and player stats for week 1. We're going to move on in the show. We're going to bounce it back to VGW, who's got the big trades of week 1. Go ahead, VGW. Take it away.
Well, I'm not entirely familiar with all of the people involved in these trades, but we do see that there was a trade from the Tigers to, I can't actually see the logo of this, but the Tigers traded Mr. BVA and Ryan W0414 for Silster 1998 and Dadler 61. The Rebels traded Boris QC for La Praire 1007. The Hitmen traded Michigan State 94 for Dr. Death 116. Oh, that sounds evil. The Kootenay Ice traded Revived Legacy for DPRK Aria 9. The Hitmen traded Dangles for Days for Arcoods 10. The Lethbridge Hurricanes traded No Excuse QC for Stones 8856 and Burnick Boys. The Calgary Hitmen traded with the Red Deer Rebels for... They traded for ENG Champion and gave up the Kofi Man and Klinger 87. The Red Deer Rebels traded T-Goalie 32 and Twitching It Up for IROC 399, JF Hochi 21, and Chelios 24. The Oil Kings traded The Man 0305 for Zach Rhodes. And last but not least, the Red Deer Rebels traded Big Dad Dino 69 for Boris QC. Back to you, Brad.
Okay, thank you, VGW, for the report of trades that occurred in week 1. Moving right along in the show, up next we've got the power rankings that are provided by the LGCHL PSN. They have a program set where they go and rank the top players in the league. So what we're going to do today is also include the rest of the CHL, the WHL, the OHL, as well as the Q. Include them all and rank 1 through 10 for each position. So on your screen now, you can see here are the top ranked centermen. I'm just going to announce the first guy and let you guys check out the rest. You can also view this on the website. If you click on LGCHL PSN and then go under the last little section there, navigation, it says rankings. You can view all these, and again, they are sortable. For center, you've got for the Wheat Kings, Dokuexi. Again, I'm going to butcher names, so I apologize, but he is ranked 12th overall in the CHL and number 1 for the centerman. Next, at left wing. Okay, let's see if I can get this loaded here. It's being a little painful on the screen. There we go. At left wing, we've got the number 1 ranked CHL player supposedly, and that is, the number 2, I apologize. And that's Oracle Rampage for the Ramparts. He is ranked number 2 in the CHL and is playing for the Ramparts. He's 3-0 and number 2 overall for the entire CHL listing. Okay. You have to bear with me. This takes a little bit longer to sort because there are 1,033 CHL players. At right wing, we've got the 3rd best overall player, and that is X-Sean88 for the 67s. If you also look down the list, you can also see some of the WHL Central Division players, like Cushman QC. Cox 2564 is going to be in there, and a couple other people, especially for the Hurricanes and the Hitmen. So there are your right wing players. At lefty, number 21 overall, and first at lefty position is for the Owen Sound Attack, goals_McCoy. Also included there are a couple other players. Again, this is also for the entire CHL. At right D, 53rd overall for the Wolves is Heaters 50-07. So again, there's your listings for your right D position. Now, stated recently or in the past, I believe it's in last season, you are allowed to play different positions. They do have what's called position lock. Forwards have to play forward position. Defensemen have to play defenseman. But they do not regulate that you have to play lefty if you're listed as lefty. So some, like if you look at Coffey Lidstrom, he has played one game at lefty and then one game at right D. The only other time that you can do that is if you were an owner or GM, I believe. You can play as an emergency call up and play a different position. So for you newcomers out there, if you're looking at getting involved with league gaming, each season there will always be brand new owners. Step up. If you like managing a team and trying to bid out on players and make the best lines, step up, talk to LG, get to know your owner as of right now in Season 8. Do what you got to do. Last position, the goalie position. Number 1 overall player in the CHL is included here. It is Gerbs or Gerbs. I'm going to assume it's Gerbs 3 for the Ramparts. He's 3-0 and is listed as the number 1 overall player in the LGCHL PSN League. So there's your rankings of the top players in the CHL. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on and talk about the summary of interview questions that VGW and myself, LHS Brad 35, asked all the owners, GMs, and AGMs of the WHL Central. So VGW, why don't you start us off with question 1, and we'll just keep bouncing back and forth.
All right. Well, question number 1 was, going into the bidding, what was your plan for creating a team? Now, the basic summary is most of the teams, with the exception of Calgary, was primarily going after defense. Calgary wanted to focus more on balancing lines, but it seemed like the overall sentiment of the league was defense wins championships. There was one caveat, however. One team in particular, the GM of the Red Deer Rebels, had answered something that I did not expect, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out. His answer to his question was, Unfortunately, due to his circumstances of being only a GM at the time, his owner, the original owner of the Red Deer Rebels, had quit. So he did not have much say in their strategy. He states that he was able to choose one player to play with, but his suggestion was to pick up players based on chemistry and attitude, and of course, proven skill. And after seeing an argument among players in previous play, he thought it would be an effective strategy when it comes to winning games down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see how he shapes that roster. And moving on to question 2, Brad will take that on.
Okay, thank you, VGW. Question 2, we asked all the owners, GMs, and AGMs, was after bidding, how did you feel your roster turned out? Did you get everyone that you wanted? The consensus, reading through all these different listings, again, we're interviewing Calgary, Edmonton, Kootenay, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Red Deer. The summary for all those teams was, for most part, they got the players that they wanted, and they feel very confident about their roster. Now, we did talk about trades in week 1, so there has been a couple moves. And that may be, as most of them said, there were 1 to 2 players that they kind of, I don't want to say blind bidded on, but somebody that they did not feel comfort with playing on a line. The biggest one I see is Calgary says that they lost 3 defensemen that they wanted. So maybe that played into why they decided to bid less on defense and go more forward. I know they're sporting a line that has 3 forwards with a combined of 36 points already after week 1. So you can definitely see that they went for forward position, lost a couple people on defense. By the way, before we start question 3 again, you will be able to read all these interview questions on the LG thread that we're going to post for media. You can check them out afterwards. We'll have them posted at some point. So question number 3, VGW, go ahead, take it away.
Question number 3 was, heading into the first week of the season, what was your message to your team? And it seems like the resounding message that every owner had was to basically don't get discouraged if things don't go your way from the get-go, because everyone had new teams and they needed to develop their lines and their chemistry with each other in order to succeed. So if you didn't have a good week 1, shake it off and get them next week and continue developing that chemistry. Also interesting to note, little side joke that Calgary had with me, he's like, we need to go get VGW. That didn't happen though, did it, Calgary? That did not happen. But no, the overall statement was focus on chemistry. And it seems like that is exactly what they're doing. So even the last place team, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, it's the Rebels?
Yes, correct.
Even the Rebels, they're still in it. And it's only week 1. Only 9 games have been played, and there's still like 7 weeks to go. So you have plenty of time to develop that chemistry. If you did not have a good week 1, the overall message still holds true. Don't get discouraged. Keep on fighting. Get that line chemistry going, and everyone in the division will have a chance to win that division. Back to you for question 4.
Yep. Thank you, VGW. Actually, I apologize. I think I made a mistake. I think it was Calgary Hitmen who finished 3-5-1, so I do apologize, Red Deer Rebels. Don't take that to heart. All right, question 4. How do we feel your team did?
Take it to heart. Take it to heart.
Take it to heart. Question 4. How do you feel your team did in the first week? Now, we've got split emotions, as it should be, because in any division, one team's going to do really, really well, and the other team's going to struggle. I'm going to read through them because they are some pretty good write-ups specifically. I'm looking at Calgary. Calgary said that the week did not go according to plan, but it's early in the season and things like this are expected to happen. It's only the first week of the season, and I have faith that our team can turn it around once we develop some chemistry. Edmonton said that they felt like they did a great job. The fact that they went 6-3, but they also stated that they feel like everyone is clicking together. Chemistry is a huge thing in AHL. The CHL, and more importantly on EA, as we have seen for the past couple seasons. Going to Kootenay. Well, Nibbling Waller said we could break it into the week into 2 halves. The first 3 games were great as we went 3-0. After that, based on chemistry and primarily availability issues, the end of the week was kind of showed as a weakness and problems that occurred kind of helped have a 6-game losing streak. But it's not the ending they wanted. They're looking forward to week 2. Lethbridge went and said that I feel like week 1 was a scramble and we got lucky to get out of the gate at 5-3-1. We could have done a lot better, and we will do a lot better than that moving forward once things settle in the CHL WHL Central Division. Medicine Hat said we feel like we did a fantastic job as we picked up 6 wins, and 2 of our 3 losses were 1-goal games. We felt like we could have won. We were pleasantly surprised at how well our forwards did, and cannot wait to see more action from the rest of the team. Finally, Red Deer went and said we were sitting pretty after Tuesday night, 4-2. Wednesday was essentially a tryout, playing different combos, seeing who could carry lines and who needs to be carried. It was a successful night in that regard, just not in the win column. So there is your question 4 response. Question 5 will be given to you by VGW.
Question 5 was, what do you think your team needs to improve on heading into week 2? And the overall consensus was defense, and not just from their defenders. Most of them are looking for that team defense as they realize that when playing online team play, you can get away with just your defenders playing, but this is not online team play drop-ins. This is LG. And if you want to be successful in LG, everybody has to play their part. And it seems like the owners echo that statement. Some things of note. It has already been brought up that Kootenay had a lot of penalties. And one thing they did say, they actually acknowledged that and said that they cannot force things that are not there. The primary focus will be on their defense, making plays that are easy, simple, and not stringing out players to positions that they cannot regroup from. Also, penalties. Lots and lots of penalties. They know they have to work on it. Question is, how fast can they fix that? Back to you, Brad.
Thank you, VGW. That was question 5. Question 6 is, what is your biggest concern in this division and why? I'm not going to go far into details on this because the consensus said that they didn't really have a concern with the division. They don't really have concern with the CHL. Their concern is primarily fixing those lines, getting chemistry made, and making that third line, shall we say, or that third group that go on the ice that much better. The biggest thing they said is the division is hard. It is balanced. You don't really have one team stepping out just yet. It's hard to capitalize on these games because a lot of these games have been close. We're talking 1-goal games or even overtime. Games that you'd not expect to go to overtime because naturally that first week we usually see a lot of blowouts. That didn't happen. So there's that. That wraps up the interview questions. You can view all these questions on our site. We're going to post them on the LG thread under media. We do have more questions, more team-specific questions that you can view on the website. They will be posted at some point alongside of this video. I will pass over to VGW real quick. I'll ask him, VGW, do you have anything else you want to add to our stream before we say goodbye to our viewers?
Only thing I'm going to add is that keep in mind, this is going to be a weekly podcast, but we have many more plans for the media for the Central Division, and I hope everyone is as excited as I am. One thing of note, if you are in the Central Division and you are watching your team play, and you are not in the game, please, please, please make highlight clips of your team in action and submit them to the media team. We plan on doing a weekly top 10 highlight reel, and for those clips that do not make it, fear not, they will still be seen. We plan on having that on the intro every week of all the top clips that did not make it. But that is all I have, and I'm back to you, Brad.
Yep. Thank you, VGW. Once again, that was VGW. His Twitch account is listed down below. You can visit him. You can also follow me on Twitter at BradWinhorse. I'm LHS Brad 35. So that's it for our show for week 1. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week as we have this podcast or live recording show, some interview questions, Q&A with the owners, AGMs, GMs of the Central Division, and then also our top 10 highlight plays of the week. Till then, keep your stick on the ice. Bye.